LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell are stepping forward with fire in their voices, refusing to let Jada fade into the shadows now that celebrities are being exposed left and right in the aftermath of the Epstein files. Power couples like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Will and Jada are said to be spiraling behind closed doors as their long-buried secrets claw their way into the light. And if anyone has a personal score to settle with Jada, it's LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell. They claim Jada and Will didn't just fracture their marriages, they torched them, while leaving a trail of emotional wreckage among young rising stars they pulled into their whirlwind because they couldn't control their own urges. Jada's been tangled up in plenty of strange situations too, especially her infamous entanglement with August Alsina, and now whispers are spreading that August wasn't even the first time, just the first time the world caught her in the act.
When I was young, I definitely think I had a sex addiction of some kind. Yes, that everything could be fixed by sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Will and Jada really thought the world would finally move on after the chaos of the Oscar slap, but instead their names drifted straight into darker territory. First tied to Diddy and now drifting into the gravity of the Epstein scandal. Will's name didn't appear much in the documents, at least not directly, but one page described a victim whose story sounded eerily similar to Bryshare Gray, a young star who became trapped in an industry pipeline that chewed him up and passed him around until his sanity cracked. Whether or not that page was about him, the heartbreaking truth remains. Bryshare is a product of a predatory network that fed him to powerful older men until there was nothing left but a fractured shell. Old footage has resurfaced showing Will Smith enthusiastically talking about mentoring him, praising him, promising he would be reaching for the stars under Will's guidance, words that now echo with a haunting undertone.
Charlie was with me every step of the way, first out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith. And I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like, I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well prepared.
And now we're witnessing the aftermath with Bryshare Gray out here spiraling, spreading himself thin for scraps. A young man whose light has been dimmed and exploited until he's left hustling for chump change.
And he was like, he said, Will, me, Diddy made me suck his, what's going on, Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, listen.
And allegedly, Meek Mill and August Alsina were pulled into similar chaos at the Smiths' hands. August first connected with the family around 2015 while battling serious health issues, liver disease, nerve damage that left him unable to walk, and a brutal Percocet addiction that wrapped around him like a vice. He couldn't work, his finances were crumbling, and despite the success of his music, he struggled to manage money, falling behind on bills to the point of nearly being evicted. On top of that, he was drowning in family conflict and had a strained relationship with his mother, leaving him desperate for guidance and stability.
We all want family. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught to we live, we grow, we create a family. I mean, that's what you do. You be with your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's a void out here for a lot of people. I know for me, I feel a void in my life because I can't get down with my family like that.
Yeah.
And
because he'd grown close to the entire Smith family, he reached out to Jada for spiritual support, another vulnerable young man seeking direction from the wrong place, and we already know how this story ends. Jada and August drifted from friendship to something far more intimate, despite her being 2 decades older. August even poured his heart out in a birthday tribute, writing, "I don't believe in luck. I believe in God's divine order, and you are an example of God's divinity, and it's covering over my life. I could spend a lifetime decoding you. You're my little piece of heaven here on earth, the fortune in my cookie. You are love personified. There hasn't been enough diction created to articulate or express the capacity of my love for you. So as my soul continues this quest, I'd like to say happy birthday. Best, you're nothing like the rest. Sliders, a level of devotion even Will never publicly offered Jada. And this is where things turn unsettling, because after their 4-year relationship was exposed, August lost everything he thought he was building, including the illusion of becoming part of a loving family.
It's very different because, as I said, there's so many people that are side-eyeing me, looking at me questionable about it. I mean, I've lost money, friendships, relationships behind it. And I think it's because people don't necessarily know the truth, but I've never done anything wrong. I love those people.
Why would anyone ever claim August benefited from this disaster? His confession blew the entire Will and Jada facade wide open, yet they still tried to pin the mess on him, calling it a publicity stunt and accusing him of chasing attention for a new album. But for LisaRaye and Tisha, this felt painfully familiar. They had both been caught in Jada's web before. Tisha and Jada were longtime friends before she married Will Smith. They attended each other's weddings in the 90s. But once Will and Jada tied the knot, the energy shifted. Will reportedly admitted to having a crush on Tisha, a confession she took lightly and shared with Jada in confidence, only to learn Jada had already been grooming her for the idea. The situation was already twisted because Dwayne Martin, Tisha's husband, was secretly Jada's boy toy, a detail hidden from Tisha. Together, Will, Jada, and Dwayne worked to coax Tisha into their arrangement until she eventually relented, unaware of how deep she was being pulled. The Smiths paid for Tisha and Dwayne's restaurant and supported their ventures, keeping them financially tethered while everything they touched seemed to collapse. Their debts piled higher, roles dried up, and with a child needing extra care, Tisha filed for divorce and began asking hard questions. She learned too late that the Smiths had paperwork not only for the restaurant, but also for their home. Will had loaned Dwayne over $1 million to buy it, meaning she owned nothing. She suspected Will and Jada helped Dwayne hide assets during the divorce, leaving her to walk away with absolutely nothing if she wanted her freedom.
I look like my man left me. That's so dumb. Took all my money. That already happened. Oh, you bitch.
But that's not where the darkness ends. Rumors swirl that Will Smith and Dwayne Martin had their own intimate connection. Whispers recently echoed by Will's former assistant, who stepped forward to confirm what many had suspected for years.
I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder, like murder. There was murder in there.
Okay. What did you do?
For Tisha, this wasn't just betrayal. It was a knife to the back from someone she believed was her friend, someone she trusted to respect the bond they shared. Instead, she was painted as unstable in the public eye, while Jada played innocent. So when August's story exploded, Tisha felt vindicated. The world finally glimpsed the real Jada. She posted, "The truth always comes out in the end, no matter how hard anyone tries to hide it. Lies are just a temporary delay to the inevitable." And followed with, "They will lie to the end. The real Kiki is people will stop believing them." LisaRaye quickly backed her up because she too had been dragged into Will and Jada's chaos after introducing Dwayne Martin to her ex-husband Michael McKissick. Dwayne, reportedly introduced to Hollywood's closeted underground through Will Smith, realized being someone's boy toy was a more profitable path than acting. Once he met Michael, things spiraled quickly. Dwayne introduced him to women, some of them Lisa's own friends, while rumors swirled about a deeper relationship between the two men. Dwayne gained unrestricted access to Lisa's home, slipping in and out without her control, leaving her powerless inside her own marriage.
I've always been afraid to date in LA. I heard stories and,
What stories
about
you
the
heard
parties,
about
about the Down Low brothers and about all of that. And I'm like, I ain't for none of that. You know what I mean? I don't want you to be playing with me. I don't want to be no notch on nobody's belt like I had her. I've never been no fuck girl. You know what I mean? None of that.
So proud of her for being so honest. I'm so proud of her.
And from LisaRaye's perspective, Jada's entanglement with August wasn't some messy fling. It was the corruption of a mother-son dynamic, twisted into something intimate. August came seeking guidance, love, stability, but instead, he wound up in her bed, and when he no longer served her purpose, she cast him aside like he meant nothing.
And I feel that he was a baby. Now, I'm all for if you want to date somebody younger, go for it. You know what I mean? But because of his circumstance and why in which he came to her, wounded and hurt, and in her lap, how in the hell did he get off the lap and then you got onto the dick. I don't understand. Son brought him to you all, and you all brought him in like family and started vacationing with him. So you were trying to mentor him. So you done fucked him up even more right here.
People now see disturbing parallels between August's ordeal and what Bryshire Gray endured. Young men pushed to the brink and discarded once their usefulness faded. Comments are circulating saying, so August came to Jada for help when he was vulnerable and she used him because she wanted to feel good, then dashed him aside and went back to her husband. Wow. And he loved Jada because she's a motherly figure. He fell in love without really understanding how wounded he really was. Of course she knew that, but didn't care. She was selfish and knew he could be molded into whatever she wanted him to be. Jada took advantage of him while he was sick and then threw him away when she didn't want him anymore. She knew he was weak. Now he out here done lost his mind while she's calling their hook up an entanglement. Yeah. And now the world wants answers. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.